Dying Light is an action survival game presented in a first person perspective and set in a vast and dangerous open world. During the day, you roam an urban environment devastated by a mysterious epidemic, scavenging for supplies and crafting weapons to help you defeat the hordes of mindless flesh hungry enemies the plague has created. At night, the hunter becomes the prey as the infected grow stronger in strength and aggression, but even more lethal are the nocturnal, inhuman predators that leave their nests to feed. You will need to make use of all your skills and any available means to survive until dawn.
What a load of old shite. No, it's got that bag on, haven't they?
Adkins.
Yes.
Dying Light.
It is currently.
It is dark. It is getting a bit dark, actually. The light is dying in our village as we record this. But more importantly, we've both been playing Dying Light, in fact.
Yep.
But you're here to review it.
I am.
Completed it.
Completed it. Big shot.
Clocked it, whatever people say these days.
Yeah, beat it.
Beat it.
Beating
it. So just for clarity, this is just Dying Light, the base game, not the following, which was quite a meaty piece of DLC, which may come at a later date. But as always, we start here with our cards on the table. Have you played any of the Dead Island games that Techland had done before, or I mean, where are we at?
Yeah, I played Dying Light. I bought Dying Light Div. I bought Dead Island, sorry, on the Xbox 360.
Yeah.
Played it for a bit. Quite enjoyed it actually. Co-op, really good. And then tried playing it on my own. It just didn't work. It was horrible. I got stuck in some sewer.
Yeah.
And then just sort of got bored and it got pushed to the back and disappeared. I did sell it. I sold it. I've got it on PC now.
Yeah.
But that's the pretty only thing I've done with Techland. I did play the Dying Light demo at EGX 2014.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I remember playing that. I got the T-shirt as well, Loving Life.
Excellent. So let's kick off with the review itself, and I think we should start with the gameplay, how the game works. In particular, I think one of the most interesting parts of Dying Light is the parkour. It's a first-person game, and some games in the past have struggled to correctly kind of give you the feel of parkour or made it seem a little bit awkward. How does Dying Light perform in this area? Because it's quite an important part of the game.
Yeah.
Because you spend a lot of your time running, jumping up and down things and whatnot.
Yeah. It did get me worried at first, to be honest. I played Mirror's Edge on the 360.
Yeah.
And that actually gave me a bit of nausea. It made me feel a bit motion sick.
Oh,
because
really?
of that first person view, with all the parkour going on. It did make me feel a bit sick. So I thought, don't know if it's... And it does look like they've taken a lot of influence from that. But what they've done, Techland, is absolutely smashed it out of the park.
Right.
Out the parkour.
Yeah.
There, I was really impressed. Looking at the controls, when you're thinking like, what is it? Oh no, R1 to jump. Something. At first, I was like, what the fuck? Who's done this?
Yeah.
Is that Alan signing these controls off again? But no, it was really. After a while, you can see how easy it is using that button. It's more fluid.
Yeah. The other part that's a big part of it is the combat. It's primarily melee focused, but you do get access to guns and they become useful as the game goes on. But what did you think of perhaps the gunplay and also the melee combat in Dying Light?
The melee combat was pretty good. There's no mercy when it comes to a few zombies on screen.
No.
You literally do have to get in there and get out as quick as you can. It's quite realistic in that sense.
Yeah.
They have the skill tree there, so you can improve the whole combat.
Yeah.
Melee combat. But for what it was, I was quite impressed with it, yeah.
You mentioned there about the unlocking new skills and progression and leveling up. That's also another big part of this game. It's got some nice RPG elements in there. What did you make of how they done that and some of the skills that you could unlock?
No, this is one thing that games do struggle with, having an interesting skill tree. And I thought But the skill tree in Dying Light was brilliant. I thought there was enough choice and variety there. You could choose to make your character go one way or another. You know, you could focus on sort of being like a scavenger, going for better loot, and or you could have it so you craft better weapons rather than find them, things like that. But yeah, when you look down and see some of the perks that are coming up, yeah, it does look really cool. Yeah.
And I like the way that you were constantly kind of building up skills as well. Like if you were, hitting zombies or killing them, your power would increase as you're doing that. And also if you're running around parkouring, jumping up and down, your agility would increase. And that was a nice way to kind of segregate it off, I felt. And then obviously experience from doing missions as a separate tree. I think it's called survival for that piece. And I quite enjoyed that they had separate actions that would help level them up. So if you wanted to concentrate on one, you could do that. One thing that changes the gameplay quite a bit is when it goes to night time, because you get these nasty bastards that pop out. They called volatiles. They're the volatile ones. Yeah, they pop up, and there's other ones that come up later on in the game as well. How did you like this mechanic? It's a constant day-night cycle, and it does make a lot of difference from night to day. Not just in how the game plays, but also you level up. I think your points are almost doubled at night, so it does pay dividends to go out at night and take a bit of a gamble.
Yeah, I thought they implemented this really well. Like calling the game Dying Light is the perfect thing.
Yeah.
Because that first couple of playthroughs we played, we did not want to go out. Nah. That was shit scary. When you do that first mission where you get caught outside, and then Jesus, since from that we did not want to go outside. They implemented it really well.
There's a higher focus on crafting and scavenging and bits like that. What did you make of that? I mean, every game's got that these days. Was this a kind of run of the mill? Did you enjoy, getting bits and bobs, making a weapon, and then perhaps even modifying it to make it have electric or fire?
Yeah, I didn't really play with this too much.
No.
I regret it really a bit, because it looks like you could sort of delve into it quite well and really sink your teeth into it and get some good, what they call them blueprints, don't they?
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't really. It was only sort of like you say, the electricity or a bit of fire. I sort of added into it, but that's one thing I never really focused on much, was upgrading the weapons. I sort of looked at the damage and sort of stuck by that.
Yeah, because you pick up a lot of weapons during your course. So I was similar. I don't think I took advantage of this, but it's something there for people, isn't it? It's quite deep, and you can. The trouble is, all your weapons have durability factors on them, and one thing that I do despise is putting a load of resource into a weapon for it to eventually be not usable later on down the line. So I think that's what's off-putting me a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Let's talk about the story and the mission structures, or what's going on. I mean, story-wise, it's very run-the-mill. You're dropped into a place that's overrun by zombies. There's characters you meet during it. What did you think of the overall story and how they kind of fed into the mission structure? Was it a hit or a miss?
It was a bit of in between. It was a fine story, nothing lasting. I think give it a month, I'd have forgotten about it.
I already have.
That's the thing. The characters, they're okay, but they're not memorable. They reminded me a lot of sort of the Far Cry 3 characters, but just not as interesting and not as memorable. Luckily, the side quests are what kept it going. I found them quite humorous, and that kept the story quite interesting. I did find that more interesting than the actual main quest line.
Final point before we start asking you for your actual grading on this. We played the majority of this cooperatively.
Yes,
me and you mainly. Then I think one session we had with Biff as well, so there was 3 of us. I think you can have up to 4, so it's drop in and drop out.
Yeah, I think it was about 4, wasn't it?
Yeah. What can the game be played solo?
Well, I thought it was going to be one of those games that was going to be too hard to play on your own, but then I found out my 10-year-old nephew's completed it. so yeah, maybe it's just me. So I reckon it is doable. It certainly helps a lot more when you've got co-op, and I find it a lot more fun when there's co-op. You can trade items and things. You can swap gifts, and you can watch each other's back when you're getting into those sticky situations. So I definitely recommend playing it with 1 or maybe 2, even 3 co-op partners. But yeah, I reckon it is doable on your own.
So the all-important question, Dying Light, should you buy it or bin it?
I'm going to say fucking buy it.
Another buy it rating. Dimp digital seal of approval there. And what is going to be your official grading for Dying Light?
For Dying Light, I will go with silver.
Excellent. So kind of the middle range there. I think
Yeah.
that's fair enough. Well, there we have it. Dying Light review in the books. We will be back on the next video or whatever we do here on Dimp Digital. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of that. Nothing more for us to say here though, apart from thanks for your time and ta-da.